Make no mistake, our democracy was on the brink of catastrophe that day.
We're here in the U.S. Capitol, steps from the House chamber, where a year ago you and other members of Congress had to be evacuated as a mob, rioters who were loyal to the outgoing president, Donald Trump. They stormed the Capitol after he told them to come here and fight for his presidency that Joe Biden had just won. Tell us, what do you remember most about that day?
Well, it was a day that, as President Roosevelt said of December 7th, a day that will live in infamy, a day of disgrace and shame for those who participated. No one could ever foresee an insurrection incited by the President of the United States. A year ago, there was an assault on the Capitol, this icon of democracy to the world. It was an assault on our democracy. It was an assault on our Constitution, assault on the Congress of the United States. Make no mistake, our democracy was on the brink of catastrophe that day. What I remember most about the day is something that I find most unforgiving about it, and that is the impact that it had on young people in the Capitol. My staff in particular, young, idealistic people who come to the Capitol to partake of our government and the rest, and that was an historic day for us on the Speaker's office, but other offices as well. So when I came back from the undisclosed location, what I remember the most and will never forget is the trauma that I saw in the eyes of the young people who were present for that violence.
And to those around the globe, I know you travel quite a bit. We know we've heard that world leaders have asked, is democracy okay? What is your message to people around the world watching this country go through all this?
Well, it is discouraging for them to see America, where it all began. And remembering who we are. Our founders had a vision for something very different from what had existed before, a democracy. And then our great country that was put together by our founders with their vision had to be held together by Abraham Lincoln. And again, Lincoln held the country together. It was said of him and it was said of our founders, the times had found them. The times have found us too. Not to place us in a category of greatness of our founders or of Lincoln, but in a sense of urgency of the assault that was made on our democracy. So when we travel, we're Americans, optimistic, hopeful, patriotic, loving our country, and confident that we can be unified because of our shared values.
So you've served in Congress many years. It was 15 years ago this week that you made history as the first woman Speaker of the House of the United States. The country remains very, very divided at this time. Do you share any responsibility, any lessons on your part learned?
No, absolutely not. I have absolutely no sense of responsibility for divisions in our country. First of all, some of the differences of opinion we have in our country are what our founders had in mind. This is a democracy. You have a debate and you come to use of force, use of intimidation, politics of personal destruction. They have all come from the other side. So I don't appreciate, frankly, when the press thinks there's some equivalence in all of this, when it's not about not being able to come together. It's about obstruction on the part of the Republicans in that regard. They said, no, it's the Capitol of the United States. And there it was.